Hello everyone, welcome back to Feed My Spirit. Ikamala Mgumosa, and this is part 2 of Life After Discovering Purpose. Okay, Life After Discovering Purpose part 2. So just to do a quick recap on the first video, we spoke about what happens after we've discovered purpose. So number 1, we said you discover purpose, and then number 2, purpose will bring to your awareness some of the gifts that you have and how you can channel those gifts towards the fulfillment of purpose. And then number 3, you develop a vision for your life. All right, so today I want us to talk about living within purpose. So basically, you've moved away from the planning phase, you've discovered purpose, you've identified your gifts, and you've developed a vision for your life, and now it is time to live out what you have set out to do in your vision or in your planning phase. All right, you are literally living within purpose, and you are taking steps towards fulfilling purpose. So I want us to talk about some of the things that we need to be aware of at this stage, and some of the things that we can expect. All right, so number 1, at this point in your life, you can expect that there'll be a certain level of excitement, because suddenly life has become meaningful to you, and there's a sense of direction and a sense of awareness of purpose. So you know exactly what it is that you are set out to do, and you are on a mission. All right, so there's a level of excitement, and you are within your element. Remember, you are doing something that you were born to do. This is natural to who you are. All right, so you are really within your element, and you feel as though you can take on the world. All right, so that is one of the things that you can expect. And then number 2, you become attractive to God, you become attractive to people, and you also become attractive to the enemy. All right, so let's talk about being attractive to people. In the last video, I said that one of the things that I mentioned is that your vision will help you identify yourself before people. All right, so now I'm saying, Dobana, you'll become attractive to the people, which basically means that people will recognize you. All right, they will recognize that, okay, this is what so and so is doing, this is what they've got to offer. All right, and they're going to appreciate what you're doing, and they're going to support what you're doing. Some of them will even tell you, Ndoba, keep going, right? Don't stop doing what you're doing, because there's a lot that we receive from Lendo Yenzayo, and we believe in your vision, we believe in your purpose, and we want to see you moving forward. All right, and that is good, that is positive. I mean, whenever you start something new, you do need support of some sort, whether it's coming from family, from close friends, or just people in general, because at the end of the day, Lendo Yenzayo is meant to serve the people, right? So it's important to receive feedback, but I'm doing this for the people, but what are the people saying about what am I doing? Is it effective? All right, am I reaching out? Am I touching lives with what I'm doing? All right, and then number 2, you also become attractive to the enemy, right? So what does this mean? This means that because you are now on a journey towards fulfilling purpose, and God's intention for your life is being realized, this basically means that your life is now in honor of God, and everything that you're doing brings glory to God, and anything that glorifies God is a threat to the enemy. Okay, so ngoku you are going to become a threat to the enemy, because your life is in glory of God, is in honor of God, and the enemy is not going to be happy about that. Okay, and we know from the book of John chapter 10 verses 10 that the enemy comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy, and that is exactly what he's going to set out to do when he sees, Ndoba, you have begun this journey of living within purpose. All right, his only intention is going to be to kill, to steal, and destroy all your efforts. Okay, so if you are So what you need to do, you need to remain rooted in God, right? You need to remain rooted in God, because God is your source, God is your covering, God is your protection, okay? You depend on him always, all right? And if you forget that, you're going to be vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. You're going to fall into his traps, right? And he's going to be successful in killing, stealing, and destroying whatever it is that you had set out to achieve, okay? So how do you remain rooted in God? Remaining rooted in God basically means that remaining rooted in God within pursuit of purpose. So what does this mean? This means that you allow God to lead you in this journey. So you acknowledge that God, you are the author and perfecter of this whole thing, and you are basically using me as a tool towards the fulfillment of this journey, right? So you acknowledge God's presence, and you acknowledge that all of this is coming from you. I am because you are, right? And this is an assignment that has been given to me by you so that I can fulfill your intentions and your purpose, all right? So you allow God to guide you, you allow God to direct you in all of this, all right? And then number 2, God's voice must always be louder than the voice of your vision and then the voice of your purpose, all right? So this basically means that you must always be willing to take instruction from God, right? Sometimes there will be things that offers and opportunities, right? And when I was jongile as a person, you're going to think that, this is what I need to do. I have to accept this because this is going to move me forward, all right? But sometimes some of those offers and those opportunities are not God ordained. Remember, there's the enemy who is trying to kill, trying to steal, and trying to destroy. And sometimes he's going to use opportunities and offers that look good at face value, but the driving force behind is the enemy. There's an intention to kill, there's an intention to destroy, and there's an intention to steal, all right? So it's important to always be in a position wherein you can hear the voice of God when it speaks to you, all right? Sometimes God is going to say no to things that you think that could have been beneficial and could have helped you move forward, but you must always be willing to listen to God, to hear God, and take up his instructions, okay? Because at the end of the day, he has the bigger picture. I mean, just the other day, you didn't know what your purpose was. You didn't have a vision for your life. And he's the one that has revealed all of this to you. So yours is to remain obedient to the voice of God and obedient to the instructions of the Lord, okay? And then also, I just want to use an example from the second book of Samuel, chapter 2, verse 1 and 2, right? It's the story of David. David was a warrior, okay? He was, he's one of the greatest men in the Bible. I mean, there's never a battle that he had lost. He was a warrior, and he was really good at what he did, okay? So what happens up in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1 and 2 is that there was a war that was happening in one of the neighboring cities, all right? And David, being a warrior, he wanted to go there and fight with him and his men, right? I mean, he knew Undoba, he could win over that nation, like whatever that war that was going on. He was very much aware of the fact that if I go there, Diokulwa, I'm definitely going to win. I'm going to be victorious, right? He was well aware of that. But even in his awareness of his greatness as a warrior, he still acknowledged God, and he still wanted to do everything under God's instruction and under God's blessing, right? So what he did is, let me just read it quickly. 2 Samuel chapter 2 verse 1 and 2. It says that, so it happened after this that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into one of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said to him, go up, David asked, where shall I go? And he said, go to Hebron. All right. So basically he was asking God, but God, I know, but there's a war going on and there's an invitation to go and fight in there. But what do you have to say, God? Do you want me to go there? So he inquired of the Lord, and he consulted God, because he didn't want to go and be a part of something that was never intended for him. All right. So going there, he wants to know, God has released me to do this. I've got God's blessing, and I've got God's covering and protection. All right. Even though ndizazim now, but I can win that nation over. But okusalayo, I still need God's go ahead. I need to know, but lento ndifuna uyenza, is it still within God's purpose for my life? All right. So that is what you need to do as well. Sometimes you will receive offers and opportunities, and even though they look like no, but this is what I want, this is what I should be doing, it's important that you go back to God, consult, ask God, but when it comes, do you want me to do this thing? Is it within your plan for my life? And also be honest with God. Tell him that this is how I feel. I think that I should do this because of A, B, and C. But even so, I want to know, what do you think? Because at the end of the day, I always want to be within your will for my life. All right. And some of the benefits of doing all of this is that it's going to prevent you from being vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy, because not everything that you're going to be offered is God ordained. All right. And then number two, it's going to always remind you, you depend on God. All right. And that comes with a sense of humility. You're not going to be puffed up and you are because you are. You're always going to be aware of the fact that you are because God is. All right. So it's going to prevent you from being conceited, and it's always going to draw you back and remind you, you still depend on God, and ultimately you are here to serve. All right. This is God working to you, God has given to you so that he can give through you. All right. At the end of the day, you are just a tool to carry out God's intention and God's purpose. All right. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share. And also another thing that I can add is that in this journey, right, sometimes ups and downs, and sometimes you're going to feel like you're winning, sometimes you're going to feel like you're losing. But always remember, don't panic, don't rush, and trust in God, because at the end of the day, he, like I keep saying, he's got the bigger picture, and you are at the palm of his hands, and you depend on him for everything. All right. So allow God to lead you in this journey, and God's voice must always be louder than the voice of your vision, than the voice of your purpose. All right. And also, not all opportunities that you're going to be offered are God ordained. So that is why you need to constantly consult God, right? Ask in the manner, God, do you want me to do this? I want to do it, but do you want me to do it? All right. Could it be that this is not within your plan and purpose for my life? All right. So that when you do eventually do izinto or accept offers and opportunities, in the manner, I've received God's blessing on this. God has released me to do this, and I'm under his protection, and I'm under his covering. All right. So yeah, that is all that I have to share today, and I hope that this has been meaningful, and that it's going to help you in some way. I don't know. I really just trust God that this is going to be helpful in some way. Once again, thank you for watching, and if you're watching on Facebook, please don't forget to like my page, and on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, then please share it with at least one other person. All right. So yeah, man, I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching. Bye.